Well, hello everybody. Good morning. I gotta go to work, but I want to do this live. Yeah, I've had a terrible couple sleeps last couple days. Moved camps, all kinds of security issues getting into rooms, but should be all good now today. And everybody call you right when you don't want it. Should be good now today, and I think I'll catch up on sleep as I got a whole pile on my plate to get done. But I want to do this live for my friend Monica and Ursula. I want to do this for you guys. It's on the CPP and the enhanced contributions in a second class of CPP introduced this year. And in fact, it goes up next year too. And I'm a big advocate, everybody, on viable social programs, not socialism. And I want to get into that. Justin Trudeau is a scumbag. He is crown. He is elite. He's a silver spoon. Never earned nothing in his life. Walked through life as this superior human being. My daddy was something big, so I'm automatically big because that's my legacy as a preferred human being in Canada. This is widespread across many spectrums of many parties. Canadians like to call it left or right. There really is no such thing, is we're radically on the left, and not just the left, we're way up here on a top scale that is never talked about in Canadian political science, even though many countries of the world see it as a 4-point. Up and down, how much power down here the people have. Up here in autocracy, how much power the elites have. Then you have left and right spectrum, which is really perverted in Canada. We're way over on the left, and we only move a little bit, but we're still on the left. You move back and forth, but you're way up here where the government has all power. Now, I don't want to stray too far. I want to get into this. I don't have much time. I got to go catch my bus pretty soon to site. CPP. If it was viable and it was a social program, everyone would be contributing basically after $20,000 a year, but maximizing out right now at $45,000 a year. If the government loved you and cared about you, doesn't matter, especially conservative, liberal, NDP, they're lying to you. And I'm going to tell you why. We talk about poverty, introducing socialism where we have to say, oh, we have to fight drugs, we have to fight crime, we have to fight poverty, homelessness, housing insecurity, energy poverty, food insecurity, all these things created by the government by transferring your wealth, my wealth, to people I don't know because they can't make it in the crummy system. And the reason why they can't make it is because of assholes, low-life, degenerate, self-entitled brats like Justin Trudeau, who tell all of you that they're entitled, everybody, and you're going to pay for all their screw-ups, meaning all of society left behind. Remember Justin Trudeau's big speech? Oh, those working hard to join the middle class. Your two-tiered CPP introduced this year doesn't help the middle class. Now, everybody, I already knew about the enhancements. I'm on the maximized, way over and above. The average Canadian's income, $67,000 a year. Trudeau's now said from $71,000 up, there's going to be enhanced contributions that only those people are entitled to. But what he's doing is drawing a line. And he's saying everybody below that, when the average income's $67,000 a year, you're going to live with less in your system. Because instead of lowering taxes, folks, lowering federal taxes, things like carbon tax, GST, sucking the money out of you guys, what he should say is, I want people to not only function now and be able to move forward. But I want people to be able to retire comfortably. They should be able to work for a living. You should all want to work. You should all be able to max out your CPP, your unemployment insurance, way before $67,000 a year. Then we start taxing people in income tax. That's called viable social programs that everybody can contribute to, so that those working and those being taxed in the upper brackets don't have to get nailed later on. And that's exactly what's going to happen, folks. This all before 2019, or all those in the average income bracket won't have a viable retirement. And we know this. A lot of small business owners, individual contractors, or just folks maybe not highly educated or in a skilled trades onward, which the world needs that. And our country needs that. You can't dismiss people because they don't have a high education and esteemed job, which is a low percentage of the population anyway. Not everybody can be a police officer. Not everyone can be a lawyer. We know what would happen with society if that was the case. This is the mentality of a radical socialist regime runaway and an autocratic government, folks. They can't even have a good percentage of the population in the enhancement, which it should be for everybody. And folks, think about it. If your first $45,000 every Canadian made, you maxed out your unemployment insurance, you maxed out your CPP, and like really high, so that folks could weather storms. If we did that and then we started income tax to fund government programs, you'd have a viable country, you wouldn't have division, and you'd have a lot smaller of a government. Radical socialist regimes, autocratic governments, create the inflation, create the socialism, the divide, the class structure, especially in monarchies, so that you all go tits up. That's the best way to say it. So that those working now on this enhancement, you're still going to get majorly taxed for all those who can't make it. Because the government will say, oh, look, we have to fight all these things for all the retired people before 2019 as they ramp up the cost of living through high taxation, high debt loading on all three markers of debt to GDP ratio that every Canadian's responsible for. They don't like to tell you this stuff, folks. I presented it in 2019 under the Alberta Independence Party. I showed everybody where everybody should be and how we could lower income tax by doing that and making Canadians viably livable and be able to manage. And when a government goes the other way, embraces class structure, which is now our CPP going forward, you're just holding back massive debt and massive taxation from those who do earn to give to the others. It's a communist playbook, but worse. It's pre-communism. It's a staple of the first class over the second and third. And they do the communist-style socialism, but only in the subject classes. Those elite rich, those politicians, they continue to get wealthier and richer while you all get poor. No matter how skilled you get, no matter how much you develop yourself, your business, or specialize, you never get richer. And I think every Canadian knows that. If you don't, and you don't feel it in your life, in your workplace, I don't know what to tell you. And having massive debt and having things that make you think you're happy is wrong, that you can't afford. And we're seeing that. We're seeing the degradation of society right across Canada. Worst places to be and look and see this is big portions of Quebec, the big cities, absolutely all of the GTA in Ontario, Vancouver, don't even get me started there, but now it's going into all the other cities. You're seeing provinces take more powers away from municipalities. The worst one right now is Alberta. I mean, absolute autocratic, dictatorial. You're seeing Trudeau federally like never before. And I hate to say it, folks, every crown government's going to embrace this. And remember, if your society can't function, somebody has to pay to take care of that major portion of society. And that's called socialism. And it's certainly not the politicians paying when they say free stuff, or we're going to fix this, or we're going to finance housing like Pierre Poilievre. He's just a commie, no different than communist Trudeau. And it's worse because it's class structured, because we're a constitutional monarchy. It's pre-communism. It's what led to communism. Just in our century, this all occurred. So it's not like it's a very old system here, folks. These are evolutions out of the worst old world order that's not supposed to be, but yet it's thriving like never before, and it's rearing its ugly head. And you're watching it. You're watching it right now. So, Monica, Ursula, if you're paying enhanced contributions or your employer's showing you that, it's a benefit for you. But I promise you, with all those who don't make the benefit, we're going to end up getting taxed and dispersed to fix that too later on down the road. This is a class-structured system. It's not a viable social program. It's the opposite of everything I've ever presented in politics. And if people think about it, you shouldn't pay taxes for that first. It's actually probably about $52,000 now with inflation, but I presented 45. All your viable social programs, meaning Canadians working to take care of themselves, should happen between 20 and I would say, I guess now 52,000 a year, meaning no second tier contributions. They should all be in that first tier and done very early in your employment. And then we start looking at income tax. I hope that makes sense to Canadians. America does this. You look at the 401k, blows everything we got out of the water. And I hate to say it, China does too. And they even have more viable social programs. I hate to have to say that as a Canadian, but it's true. Class structure doesn't work, and it's what bred communism. As bad as that is, arguably in some respects, it's better than the monarchy system. That's my video. Share. Get it out there. Trudeau's despicable, ugly, wrong. But you know what? When you work, you should have viable social programs. That's part of capitalism. And anyone telling you that's not true, and I do see employers arguing this, I see it in the Conservative Party, they're lying to you. And they're not capitalist or in any fashion of capitalism. They're actually socialist and fascist when you look at the real terms and definitions. Not that Trudeau isn't either. He's a hyper flashlight steroid on the issue, and that's the only thing about him I like, is that it highlights all of these truths. He's a major beacon spotlight, the worst one we've seen probably since his father. Gotta go, folks. Don't want to miss my bus. Bye now.